name is Josh Snodgrass, and I just wanted to share with you one of the best tricks that I have for making fingerstyle guitar much easier, and that is not something you do with your hands at all, but it's this capo right here. So this capo is what's called a drop D capo. And if you can see, there's this little notch right there. And then what that does is that leaves the top string of the guitar open. I don't know if you can see that, but it leaves this open. And so I put that on the 2nd fret, and then you can play a D chord like this. And you've got a low bass for your D chord. And I just love this capo when I'm playing the key of G or the key of D, which I love those two keys, playing both those almost all the time. But in the key of D major or G major, I'm almost always playing with this thing on. And the reason, I'll tell you why I do that. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, when you're playing in the key of D, you want your main chord to have a low bass note. You don't want that to be the bass note of your root chord. And so when you're playing like this, you got that low bass note of that root chord, which is really helpful. The other thing, when you're playing the key of D major, you hardly ever play an E minor chord. Usually you're playing D and G and A and B minor. Those are your main chords. And so you actually don't need that open E note that you would typically use if you were just playing in standard tuning without the drop D capo. I know a lot of you probably think, well, why not just go to drop D tuning? And that you can do, but the problem is then your G bass note's up here, and I just find that root to be really awkward. I don't like it. And I like all my scales and chords to work the way I'm used to them working, and so I love I love this capo because basically the only thing that doesn't work is the E minor chord. You can't go, you end up with the wrong bass note. But what I do for that, when I do have to play a E minor, is I just don't play the bottom string, and so I end up with a B in the bass. And to me, that still sounds pretty good. And I will gladly trade the E minor bass note for that D bass note. So I use this like probably 95% of the time in all my arrangements, almost all my arrangements. Unless I'm playing in a minor key, then I'll play typically in A minor, and I'll take this thing off. There are a few times I won't play with it, but almost always I'm using this thing. And it is just worth its weight in gold when it comes to trying to play simple fingerstyle guitar music and make it sound good. I really just love it. So I'll put a link in the description where you can get one of these. Also, another trick is if you don't have one of these and you want to try playing my arrangements right away, you can use a standard capo and just put it on from the bottom down here to where it covers all but the top string, a standard spring-loaded capo there. And so that will work in the meantime. But I do recommend you get one of these drop D capos, because the problem is this will kind of get in the way of your hand if the clamp is down there, the handle to the clamp. And so you turn that around, it's out of the way up there, and then you can maneuver around and play your chords. It just works great. So that's my first tip. One more thing I forgot to mention. Please go sign up on my email list. There's a link in the description below where you can do that. And a lot of my lessons are going to be getting emailed out. They may not even show up in video form. They may just be in an email, or I may email you a link to like a blog post or something where I share more lesson and theory and stuff. So thank you so much. God bless. Bye.